Hi, my name is Benedict Ang. I got fired from McDonald's at 14 for chucking a tray at the customer. And today, I lead over 100 people in business. And this is how you can do it too. Now, this is my first long-form video in a long time. And I'm thinking, what is the best way to share this and what is the best way to reintroduce myself? So, I've been thinking, the best way is to simply share the key moments that I had from growing up to today. The very first significant one would be at 8 years old. I got beat up at a playground, Punggol Park in Singapore. I remember it very clearly, by two Indian guys. And what did I do? Because I talked shit to them and I thought that someone is gonna help me, but no. I got beat out in front of everyone because there were no adults. And the kids that were older than me just stood there and, watch. At that moment, this very thought went through my head. I was thinking to myself, did my mom bring me into this earth for me to get beat up by two fucking Indian guys? And that stuck with me. I never felt so helpless. I really hated it, and I have visions later on in life as well of fucking cracking all their bones. And that is just to share with you how much or how helpless I felt. And I never want to feel that helpless again. So, with each significant event there comes a lesson, right? And this lesson for this particular event is that I never want to feel helpless again. Physically, that was the first time I felt so helpless in my entire life. And I would say I wish that no one would have to go through that feeling of helplessness. Now, the next significant event would be getting fired at 14 from McDonald's for chucking a tray at the customer. You're fired! Now, I say that because, look, most people you probably have a job that is better than McDonald's now. But if I could get fired from McDonald's at 14 and still do what I do today, I'm sure you can do even greater things. So, the lesson I'm trying to say here is that it really doesn't matter where you start, it's how you finish. And fun fact, I'm not even halfway close to where I want to be. The next significant event would be at 15, where I lost my mom overnight. She committed suicide, jumped off a building, boom. So, I remember very clearly, like, the day before, she was packing lunch for me, everything was good. And the next day, as I was wake up, excited for my big soccer game, my dad sat me down and said, "You just lost your mom." I couldn't even cry because I was so shocked. It took me a while to process it and I was very angry with everything. But once I process everything, it comes back to this very lesson that we all already know, but we need constant reminder. And that is, treasure what you have before it's too late. I guess also through this experience, let me share a trick or something that I discovered. Because after that happened, anytime someone I love pissed me off, for some reason, my mind just imagined the worst thing that could happen to them. Not in an evil way, but I just imagined that something bad happened to them. And that actually made me grateful that they are alive and all the anger disappeared. So maybe that is something that could, help you deal with people that you love that angers you, right? Next significant event would be at 19 years old, where I made my professional debut in one championship. But the very first fight wasn't that significant. It was the second fight, my favorite fight, that implanted something in my head. So my second fight, at that point of time, I was 1-0. My opponent was 8-2, if I remember correctly. 7-2 or 8-2, something like this. 3 weeks before the fight, I caught shingles infection and I was banned from the gym. So I couldn't even train in the gym. I was almost pulled out of the fight. But I begged my coach to let me stay in the fight. And in return, what I did was I did a lot of sprints training outside in the park to make sure that I'm still conditioned for it. And on fight night, that was the very best performance I put on, I believe. It was a methodical dissection of a vastly more experienced opponent. I stopped him in the second round with the doctor stoppage. And it's still to today, one of my favorite performances. And why do I say it's a significant thing? Because I'm not supposed to win that fight. I was 1-0 facing someone 8-2. It just doesn't make sense on paper, right? With the shingles, not being able to train is just, you're not supposed to win it. And you end up going out there to put on your best performance. So at that point of time, I learned to never doubt myself again. So the lesson here is for you to go and do something that you thought is impossible. Do your impossible and never doubt yourself ever again. Next significant event. I entered the Singapore military at the age of 21. I went on to become a military intelligence sergeant. And during the military, I wasn't able to fight professional MMA because you can't get paid while you're in the military. But what I did, because I feel like, in my martial arts journey, striking is one of the scariest things. In Jiu-Jitsu, yes, you get submitted, cool, you just tap. Getting knocked out has been always something that is, well, scary in a sense, right? And I want to feel more confident with that. I knew that I couldn't fight pro MMA, so what I did was, during that time, I took on possibly about 20 kickboxing fights. A lot of it was tournaments, so one day you fight 3 times. I traveled out of the country during the small little breaks that I had to fight, rack up a lot of experience, and during that time I became 2-time kickboxing champion. So the lesson here is, military is something that I can't control. You can't really control all the cards that you are dealt in life. But what you can control is how you play those cards. You can always make the best of what you have. And that is what I did. And that in turn helped me so much in my martial arts development. I got so much more confidence in my striking. So, after military, when you complete military, this is when life really hits. Because you're now a grown-ass adult. You need to get paid. You need to have a proper job. So, my first job was actually my first proper corporate job. All right, I had a lot of little, part-time jobs, right? My first proper job was selling freight sales. It was a good friend of mine, his mom was kind enough to mentor me. So I took on the opportunity. What I did was basically selling import and export services to businesses that need that services. I was focusing a lot on the car trade. So basically people exporting cars or importing cars. Knocking on doors every single day. Being told to fuck off. Like literally he told you to get the fuck out. Shouting at your face. Here's the fun fact as well. The guy that shouted at me asking me to fuck off ended up giving me business. And that is, the lesson here is that, be consistent. Show up, thick skin, you got nothing to lose. But at that point of time, this thing triggered in my head as well. Why am I, an X1FC fighter, kickboxing champion, getting told to fuck off from somebody else? Shop, all because they had money and I needed his money. So that really pissed me off. And I would say this then led on to the next significant event in my life. I saw an ad on Instagram by a guy named Brendan Carter, King Keto. It's my very first business mentor. It's basically telling how to make an online fitness business. So I decided to click the ad. I went through their sales process. I gave him my last $200, I remember, as a down payment. I didn't even have $1,000. I gave him my last $200 as a down payment. And then I borrowed $1,000 from my dad to make the very first, installment for his mentorship program. After that, after making that investment, I think I was still working that job. So I was trying to make that, fitness business work while also doing well in my freight sales. I got into a fucking car crash. And that's when I decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna quit this freight sales. I'm just gonna do my online fitness business. And what I did was I used that car crash to kickstart my business. Here's another example of using how to use a bad thing to turn it into a good thing, right? I got into a crash, I couldn't exercise, whiplash, back injury. I think for 2 weeks or so, I couldn't exercise. And before that, I was a little bit chubby as well. So I basically used that to kickstart my transformation. I used that to I think I got 3 testimonials. I like, hey, I posted on Instagram, I want to help 3 guys for free. Do this together with me. And that is how I kickstart my fitness business. From then on, I got a lot of clients and I built the business. So again, with all of this, throughout this fitness journey as well, I actually had another bike crash this time. I broke my fibular bone, tore my deltoid tendon. Not sure if you can see the scar here. It's like 7 metal screws and 2 metal plates. So again, I used that to market myself, make more money. I would say this significant event in terms of like the fitness business and the accident is all about turning a bad thing into a good thing. And the same lesson as before. Once you do your impossible, never doubt yourself ever again. And that is why I dare to quit the job, right? What's the worst that can happen? I bet on myself, I will win. So, what is next? Right. Shortly after doing well in the fitness business, I decided to join a very powerful network online. And through the network, I was able to meet a lot of multi-millionaires, people who are living a reality that never occurred to me before. I'm seeing things that, people having fucking 3 girlfriends, 2 girlfriends, multiple wives, so much money, fit as well. Because the thing is, a lot of people, they are only strong, they are only fit, or they are broke. They are fit but broke. Or they got girls but they are unfit and they only got money. Very little people have all 3 of it. Money, fitness, and relationships. Alright? In that network, everyone has it. So the way I provided value through that network was through my combat competence. I was able to coach a lot of the guys there. And then just being surrounded by people who are winning on a much higher level, that rubbed off on me. Through providing value to others, I also met my new business partner inside, where I created a new company, the sales company, which now I lead with over 100 people. So, in joining a network like this, where everyone is pretty much at a level that is higher than you, in one way or another, right? Might not be fitness, but it's something else. The best way to act during those times is to be respectful and be reliable. This is something that I realized is very simple, but not a lot of people do. Being reliable in the sense that if people tell you something only for you, keep it to yourself. Don't even share it to your best friend. If you say you're going to do something for someone else, make sure you complete it no matter what. And of course, adding value. But adding value comes from first being valuable. The best way to become valuable is to become better yourself every day. So, I would say these are basically the significant events that has led me to where I am today. From, getting beat up in the fucking playground, getting fired from McDonald's, leading over 100 people in a business, staying in a pretty damn nice place. I would say it's been quite a journey, but I'm nowhere near done. And I thought, this is my first long form video in a while. I thought this is a chance to introduce myself, share the stories, but here's what you're gonna get when you stay with me long enough. Because I do want to start producing more content, because I believe that I have lived enough experiences to share different lessons, and I'm gonna continue to live more. So with that, let me end off with the 3 things that I stand for as well. I stand for physical mastery. Mastering yourself physically, so being combat competent. Not only looking good, but being durable, powerful, strong, fast, the whole package. Next thing is mindset mastery. I had a lot of ways. My mind thought in different ways throughout different parts of life that led me to different results. And it's always continuous. It's a continuous discovery of how your mind can become your best friend. So I'll be sharing a lot of those insights. And the last thing I would say is going to be adventure and freedom. I believe that it is my birthright to be free. I want to be an untamed soul. So with that, if you stayed to this part of the video, I appreciate you. And I look forward to sharing more valuable stuff with all of you. Peace out.